the nature of the speech itself and how well you delivered it, but because it does speak to me, because even though I was born here, my parents were not. So I'm the child of immigrants, and I've heard many times how lucky I am to have been born here. So it really spoke to me from that perspective as well. So I wanted to go over 3 things that I thought were really remarkable about your speech, 3 things I really want to commend you on. First off is your candor and your easy delivery. It's not always easy to deliver these icebreaker speeches because every other speech in the manual gives you an opportunity to speak about something else, somebody else, something removed from you. But the icebreaker is so personal, and sometimes it's really hard to open up in front of a group, but you did it with ease, you did it with smooth delivery. It was fantastic. Next was your eye contact. Especially for it being an icebreaker speech, for it being your first speech, I thought you did a really good job of scanning the room as you spoke, trying to find people's eyes to connect with them as you spoke. That's a really good way to kind of draw people in and make people more attentive to what you're saying. So I thought that was fantastic. And last but not least, even though your story was about immigration and about the difference between your upbringing and your life here, I thought you still made it relatable by bringing in stories about dreaming as you were a kid, living out the American dream once you were here, speaking about your aspirations. Those are things that anybody can relate to no matter where they're from. So really good job there. Just a couple of pointers. I know this is your first speech, and just based on your performance in this, I can't wait to see what you do next. But there are just a couple of things that I would say to watch out for. Of course, the filler words, the ums, the ers, the ahs. It happens to the best of us. It's happening to me right now. So I can definitely relate to that. But just be mindful and try to weed those out as you speak. And also be very purposeful about your hand motions. There were times when it was really good. You were using it to emphasize and speak and gesture to people. But when you came up, you had a hand in your pocket, and sometimes the hands seemed a little less purposeful. It seemed a little less intentional. So I'd just be careful of that as you speak. And one other thing that I noticed, being on the cover of Success from Home magazine, I'm not familiar with that publication, but I would build that up. I mean, it seemed like such a throwaway line when you were saying it. You were just kind of like, yeah, I was on the cover of Success from Home magazine. You know, it is a big deal. It's a total big deal. So I would build that up and really emphasize your accomplishment, because it's obvious that you're very accomplished from everything that you said and everything that you've done, and just really want the audience to feel that and experience that. So overall, excellent first time at the lectern as a speaker. I know you've been up here before, but that was really it. Great job. Glad to see you next speaker.